Greetings, Leroy Trustee, Director of E-Learning here at Harford Community College. I want to talk to you today about how to use collaboration within your Blackboard course. Now, with the way the weather's been and a lot of factors involved, some of the ways that are ways around getting into that class and getting some discussions going outside the classroom would be to use the collaboration tool within Blackboard. Now, it's a hit and miss. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to depend on your computer and how you have your computer set up, what browser you're going to be using, and again, how comfortable you are with downloading software to your computer. Some of the computers on campus have the software loaded up, some of them do not. And we only find out when students need to log into a course and find out that the chat's not working or some other aspect isn't working. So what we need to do is make sure that you understand what the possibilities are and make sure that you let us know that you're going to be using chat, for instance, using the collaboration tool, using some of the other tools, so that we make sure that the computers that need to have the software updated are updated, because this is one of those areas where not always the software updates itself. So with that, I'm in the class here, I'm in the faculty lounge, and I want to get into the collaboration tool. Now, because I don't have a collaboration tool set up in the sidebar, I have to go down to course tools and I have to find collaboration. Now, if I were setting up the class and I really was going to get into the chat aspect, I would put chat out there as a separate tool. Now, if you get into the communities, you'll find that it's a little bit different, somewhat the same, but a little different as far as setting up the collaboration. But we'll get into that at another time, probably a face-to-face meeting. But in this process, you're going to find the collaboration link, because sometimes we're still thinking about that word chat, and that chat is not being used now, it's collaboration. So you want to click on collaboration, and when you do, you can set up your collaboration sessions however you want. I have one. When I set mine up, I usually just set up an office hours one and then the lecture hall. Now, I have taught classes where I have set up a lecture hall for each time the course got together. In other words, if I had 5 live synchronous sessions going on, I would have 5 lecture halls set up. I also had one just for the students themselves to go in and they could chat among themselves real time. Today it's a little different. Back then when IM was really the big thing, not texting or Facebook or anything like that, found that a lot of students like to use this just to communicate among themselves, especially when I was teaching classes where I had students all around the world. And so depending on how you want to set it up, this is a good way to do that, because you can load it in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to the lecture hall on this particular course. And again, like I said, you can create them by just clicking on create collaboration sessions, and you can add to that. Now, one of the things that you got to be aware of is what kind of browser that you're using. Now, some browsers auto-update and some others do not. And so it's important that you check that as you're clicking onto this. Now, I went into Internet Explorer, which is, to me, it's not my favorite site, but this is the one that it automatically opens up to. So it just kind of gives you an idea that some of the things that you may have come up. For instance, right now I have a security warning that comes up. Blackboard is fine to click on the yes. Okay. So with that, I'm going to have a separate window that comes open. It's going to do the Java thing. So now that I have the whiteboard up, so I have this going. Here's my whiteboard. Here's what it looks like. Now, what you may have, and you don't see my screen here, but you may have up top, right underneath the address bar, a block that pops up that says your Java's not up to date. You need to update your Java, and then you may have a block there that says for this time only. Now, if you have a situation like that, go ahead and click on this time only, and it'll allow you to operate within Blackboard and operate within the chat window so that you're in there and communicating with your students. It's important that you test this out early in the class if you're going to start doing this, and test it with the various browsers that are out there. If you know your students are using Chrome, test it out in Chrome. If you know your students are using Firefox or SeaMonkey or Opera, find out if it's working. Do a test run prior to. Let's try not to wait until right before the session starts, because oftentimes if it requires a download of software, especially on campus, it may take a little longer for us to do it than within the 15-20 minutes it's asked. So we ask that you really just kind of work on the classes beforehand. Make sure that it's working so that we know what you have done. If you do have a problem and you're not sure what to do, one of the things that you want to do is you want to do a screen capture. And it's probably the best way to do anything as far as finding out what's going on with this Blackboard or going on with anything that's dealing with the internet. You do a screen capture, and if you're using a PC, on your keyboard you have past F12, and that's if you look at the very top of your keyboard there, you have F12. Next to F12, and most keyboards are the same, and I'm just looking here. I'm going to pull another one out. I have it. I'm just going to look at this one real quick. This is a little different. This is this was one of my flexible keyboards. It doesn't show print screen, but you need to find out where your print screen is, and then click on that print screen. What that does is that saves the picture of your screen, and then what you can do is you can email that to CTS, or you can email it to us, and we can take a look at it to see if it's going to see where the problems are. Okay, we're hoping on some software that'll be able to allow us to see your desktop, just what you're doing, and we can help walk you through some of the issues that are out there, especially on your personal computers. But right now, this is we have really the capability is limited. If we have your screenshot, then we can tell if we have the right window open, or maybe it's an older version of whatever your system is. Java updates all the time, and so you'll find that there's a lot of different tools out there, and you'll find that sometimes the newer versions of Java doesn't run as well as the older versions, and it's just a hit and miss that we have to go through. But anyway, this is the way Blackboard is set up. This is the way the collaboration tool, the virtual classroom, is. And so you can set up your whiteboard. You can put your questions in here. You can put pictures in here. There's a lot that you can do with this. Now, this is just one tool that's with the Blackboard that you can work with. Now, understand, here's another aspect of it. With Java, some of the issues that you may have are students who have tablets or other mobile devices that do not operate with Java. iPad is one of those. I was trying to get into a chat window the other day on Blackboard, and it will not allow me to do that. So I had to resort to going to my PC to operate with that. So that's another question that you have to ask yourself as to, when you're using this chat, what's going to work best for your students out there. Okay? Now, this is the way it is. I think this is a great tool. It works well. I have taught classes where students have been all over the world, and we've been able to communicate, and granted just a little bit of a lag there. You have to work with that. You have to learn. Anyway, that's how it works. The only other option that I have for you, if you have a problem with a student, and that is if you can communicate with them some way or another, depending on what you're using. If you're using a live broadcast like Livestream, Ustream, or Bamboozer, my very simple favorite one, then what you can do is then use the tools that are out there, such as, and let me see if I can find that. It's I like to use Twitter, and this is just kind of give you an example of what Twitter is going to look like for you. I brought this particular page in itself. This is for the ITC. It's a group that we belong to, the college does. And I have a couple of folks down there at the ITC conference in Orlando, and it is to find out what's going on. It's hashtag, that's the pound sign for those that don't know, hashtag eLearning 2014. Now, what you can do is, as you're setting up a course, is to set up it with a specific identifier, and that would be, for instance, I want to do HCC Philosophy 101, And I may even just put an extra identifier on that, discussion one or D1 or something like that. And what that does is it really limits to who has that already marked out for whatever reason. HCC is a wide open one, and so you want to try to narrow that down. For instance, this is eLearning 2014, and what you have is everybody that's at this conference that is tweeting using that hashtag eLearning 2014 along with a few others, just because then I can send that out to people. They can research that and they can go back and look at it very specifically. And so these are just some things that you see. You see some updates. Twitter is another way that you can communicate with your students. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a matter of do your students have access to Twitter? Do they have it on their mobile device? Do they have it on their computer? There's and different ways. And again, some people do not have the social media. But what we're seeing here is a lot of people using the social media to include, like I've mentioned before, I was talking to a fifth grade teacher that uses Twitter all the time to communicate with her students. And it's really quite interesting when that happens. Anyway, just to let you know what's out there, what's available to you, so that you can communicate with your students, because I know it's a challenge, especially with the way the weather is and trying to get caught up, and you want to find every avenue you can as to getting that straightened out. So anyway, gone over the issue of setting up the collaboration or chat for Blackboard, and also the ability to use Twitter. And some of the things that you'll notice, I'm just going to go through this real quick. You'll see that they have some websites here. You can do that. You can link to your SoftChalk account if you have that, or if you have another website that you want them to link to, or maybe a picture that you want them to link to. Maybe you have something going on with Google+. You want them to link to that. There's also Instagram. Surprisingly, a lot of students are using Instagram to communicate, and faculty are using Instagram. Pinterest is another tool that's out there. These are things that the team's finding out while they're down at this conference. I found that out at another conference here just a couple of weeks ago, and it's all out there. So anyway, here's some information. This is how people are communicating. And for me, I'm communicating with some of these people. I'm here in Maryland. They're down there in Orlando, but I'm getting a lot of information as well. A good way to communicate with people, keep in touch with them. And it's a good way to communicate with students as well. What I do is I set this up. I have my lecture up on SoftChalk. I can link to that. I can have them look at some items. I can have them go view a slice of video. I can put that in there. I can put the link to the short video that I want them to review and discuss, and I have that all under a hashtag that's very specific to the course that I'm teaching. So again, like I said, these are very good, useful tools for you, especially in this time when we're trying to catch up and there's a lot of activity going on. And again, use what we have. It's right there. It's right in front of us. Okay. So with that, continue on with your classes. If you have any questions, just go ahead and give us a call. But again, work this out before my Sunday dinner, okay? That's the key thing. Work it out before Sunday dinner, and I'm happy.